Hello, welcome back to First Thoughts. I'm Simon, this is Justin, and today we're giving our first thoughts on Sketch, a new allegorical horror movie intended for kids. You know how they do that. Still scarier than Jurassic World was, though, I'll say that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Well, that was a movie. So if you haven't heard about this movie, you don't know anything about it, haven't seen the trailer, any of that, which I'll admit, I just heard about this movie about a week and a half ago. Brand new to me, and saw the trailer or a clip from the trailer and went, that looks fun. I actually also saw a visual effects artist on Instagram talking about it. And I was like, that all looks fun. Added it to my watch list and found out, oh, it's this weekend, which is when I was away. Sorry, that's why we're late. But yeah, so if you haven't seen the trailer, it is about this family who the daughter is dealing with some dark thoughts and takes it out by drawing dark imagery in her notebook. And so her brother, I was going to say younger, but they could be twins for all I know. They never specify ages and they look about the same age.
Yeah, I just assumed slightly older, but that's just
Could be.
from actions, I guess.
Yeah, and then their single father have to try to navigate this when somehow these drawings begin to affect their actual lives. So, yeah, it's a very unique story. It's a lot of fun. And what did you think, Justin?
I really enjoyed it.
I love
Now,
this movie.
Mind you, you knew a lot more about this movie than I did going in, and by a lot more, I mean anything about the movie at all.
The trailer, yes.
Yeah, I heard the title when you bought the tickets, and I saw the poster, and I saw it was rated PG, and that's all I knew.
What was the poster?
I think it was the kids in a line, and then Dave behind them.
Dave. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I saw the trailer. I don't even know if I saw the trailer, if I just saw a spot, because I remember knowing that there was drawings that came to life, and I was vaguely aware that it was like, it's edited and it's like the scoring of it is like a horror movie, but you can tell it's for kids. And so I was like, that looks really unique though. I actually, for some reason, somehow I thought it was not A24, but like somebody like that, like a studio like that. It was by Angel Studios or somebody.
Never.
And I went, oh no, is this a Christian movie when it started? And the whole movie I was like waiting for some sort of Christianism, and it could have been but they did say asshole at one point, or dumbass, sorry. They said dumbass twice. That was the only swearing in the whole movie, but regardless, very PG, so it was hard to tell.
Listen. It was blended in with all the b-holes in there.
Right.
I mean, literally, b-hole.
They say b-hole a lot. But yeah, no, I also saw there was, maybe it was in the trailer or not, but regardless, I saw it on Instagram Reels, the visual effects artist talking about how when Dave roars, they went, well, he just ate a bunch of birds. Shouldn't we add some birds in? So then they threw some birds at the window. Digital birds. It'd be funny if they're like... But yeah, so without getting too far into spoilers or anything yet, yeah, I agree. I really enjoyed it. It had a really high rating. I had heard it was like upper 7s or something, 75% on Metacritic. And so I was like, that kind of kept me locked in, because when the movie first started, I was like, I don't know. All of a sudden, you notice a couple things, like this is very low budget. It's kids acting. It was very Spy Kids feeling a little bit with the acting there.
A little bit. But I do have a soft spot for Spy Kids, you know.
And so I was just like, I immediately, also the big Angel logo and it having like this movie's approved by the Angel Guild. I'm like, what are we talking about? And I just got really scared.
Yeah, I didn't catch any of that stuff. I didn't get what any of that means. Maybe
Me
one day I'll
neither.
find out. The Angel Guild?
I don't know. It reminded me of like, there's Christian studios that also there's Christian like movie ratings where they will, I don't think it's Angel, but the Angel sounded like it, where they'll review movies and give it a thumbs up or thumbs down on if it's like okay for Christian people to watch. And so when they start the movie by saying this movie's Angel approved, I'm like, what are we doing? Oh no.
Listen. B-hole is an acceptable swear word in the Christian church.
Yes. My pastor would use it all the time.
It's biblical, honestly.
That's what the B stands for.
Yes.
But no, I for the first 5-10 minutes, I was a little bit like, oh no, did I make a mistake? Is Justin going to be mad at me? But quickly I realized, nope, we made a good choice here, and this is a very enjoyable movie if you're going with the right mindset. Obviously, this isn't a horror movie for adults by any stretch of the imagination.
No,
but
not
it's
scary at any point.
I
really.
think it's entertaining for adults as well. There's a lot of themes that adults will be able to relate to or pick up on. I think my favorite thing about the movie was, frankly, the dad and his interactions with the kids. I thought was great. I really enjoyed him. But then, yeah, for the kids, the visuals of it, the kid main characters are all great. Sure, it's child acting, and yes, you cringe a little bit, but there's a lot of humor that's still funny to me.
Honestly, I didn't even really cringe that much until I got really the emotional speeches towards the end.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, they're trying. I get it.
Yeah.
They're kids. But other than that, I thought they were great.
Yeah. I give the director props, because to get good comedic timing out of children is difficult.
They were bouncing off each other with the quickness.
Yeah.
The one-liners, the snappy comebacks. It felt like some actual little kids in school busting on one another with a little bully there.
Yeah, I will say that's true. It's like it did feel real. The interactions did feel like, it didn't feel like, you know, a lot of movies where kids and parents talk and you're just like, this is a scriptwriter. There may be a couple parts that were kind of there, but like, you know, there was interactions where I was like, man, that's just a dad hanging out with his kids or trying to correct his kids or whatever. It's like, that's really good. I really enjoy that. Yeah, I'm ready to open the doors. It's hot. It's hot as balls.
I think we made it 10 minutes.
We might have, I don't know, but I was like, I'm wearing a gray shirt. Sweat shows up real fast and gray.
Yeah.
It's
the
laundry
dark colors
day.
is the right thing, the right move.
Normally I wear black, but I was out. I was completely out of the black t-shirts today. What else can we say before we get into spoilers? I don't know. It was fun, man. It was a good time. It was creative. It was original, but it harkened back to me, other than Spy Kids, it also gave me kind of like that 1980s kind of kids movie vibe.
I could see that. Yeah.
And I was like, not that this is never-ending story territory, but it was like, at moments, reminded me vaguely of that. I'm like, cool, I like that.
We had the kids' adventure. We had the silly parental figures at times. One parent and the sister, was it?
Yeah, his sister.
Yeah.
Which, it was funny because the first time she says, oh, that's my brother, I thought she was lying.
Yeah, same. I thought that was just to be like, that's not a creepy guy running in here. No, that's my brother. He's being stupid. No, but okay. Yeah, no, real.
Which, we can get into that whole thing later, but like, if you're the homeowner trying to sell a house, and you say, sorry, I have an emergency, I think people aren't going to freak out or think that's weird.
No, he always...
He made it as bad as possible.
Yeah, no, he always went the extra mile.
But part of that was because they felt like they had to lie for some reason. I'm like, just walk in.
Just stay in the car. Do not come in.
Where are you going to be? In the van? Out front? Yes. Like, that's weird alone.
Yeah.
If I'm going to look at a house and the owner is just sitting in the driveway
with all their stuff in the car,
I'd be like, what? Like, go to a coffee shop or something.
And then the one time, not a spoiler at all, but he's sitting in there with the daughter.
Yeah.
If I had shown up and just see like the young kid being forced to sit in the car too, it would have
I'd
been
be like, come on inside, guys. It's fine.
been weird.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so we should probably get into spoilers. I don't think that there's a whole lot else to say, but what we can say is it's enjoyable, surprisingly so, with like this many kid actors. I always get a little bit nervous. They were fun. Yeah. All three of the main three kids were fun. The dad, like I said, loved him, but it was everybody. And then the visuals are obviously... It's something, they worked really well with the low budget to make it fun because the visuals are drawings come to life, so they don't have to look super realistic, and so they nailed the imagery there. And like I said, it's a horror movie for kids. I don't think it's going to traumatize any kids, but it will get kids' blood pumping a little bit at times.
I feel like some of the attempted jump scares could get some kids.
Yeah.
It's nothing like
not for
horrific
adults,
or anything,
but for for kids though, it'll get them excited, get them going a little bit.
A little jolt.
Yeah, and that's where I was like, you know, never ending story a little bit here.
Which is honestly for nowadays for kids. I mean, I'm not gonna say I watch a lot of kids movies nowadays, but like from what I've seen in the recent years, kind of surprising.
Yeah, this is
bit of a different direction.
Yeah, I'm going to recommend this to multiple parents I know because it's just like, you know, I know a lot of guys, you know, who are my age or a little bit older who have kids now, and they're like, it's so tough to find stuff from like that's like akin to our childhood or whatever, or maybe even earlier, like the 80s. Like I said, it's hard to find that kind of stuff coming out nowadays for kids, and so they're constantly looking for that. And so even though we didn't like it as much, but like what was the one earlier this year, The Legend of the Ochi, like that.
Oh, yeah,
this was
yeah.
kind of similar to that. I liked this more. That one was a little artsier though. They each had things that they were better at than the other one, but overall I like this one more for sure. Man, I don't know what I'd rate it. But it's between a 6.5 and a 7 for me. I enjoyed it for sure.
I feel like I've been tossing out the 7s recently. My scale is all screwed up because I don't agree with everything being on the same level, but this is definitely easily a 7 for me.
Yeah.
This was pretty front to back, pure enjoyment. Once it got
got going, yeah. From the school bus scene on, for sure.
Yeah.
You might get a little bit bored early on, like I said, the first 5-10 minutes maybe. But even that, you might not. And then certainly once you get going, and once you see the plot come together, because there was like, at first it seemed like there was a subplot that had nothing to do with everything else.
Yeah.
And then once it was part of the main plot, I was like, oh, okay. Because I was like, it feels like we're doing two different stories here for a minute. And they're like, oh, nope, they're all together. So, yeah, no, I enjoy it. So, yeah, 7-ish. It's funny, your scale is like the first season of Gilligan's Island. It's 7 and the rest. That is how you rate things.
Kind of. There's a website for rating like anime and manga that you've read before.
Yeah.
My thing on there is 8s.
You just got a big tower
yeah.
and then everything else.
The curve of my ratings is like a couple of 9s, the very occasional 10, a really, really rare collection of like 5s, 6s, a couple of 7s, and just a giant tower of 8s. Yeah. Literally everything. It's just like, oh, that's an 8. Yeah, no, that's a high 8, a low 8, but I can't do high or low, so it's just 8s, 8s, 8s.
Yeah. That's why I hate, like, some places make you rate something at a 5. I'm like, I don't even know where to begin. Like, it's just, because then I think, like, oh, well, this movie, like, not this one, but, like, if I wanted to rate something a 6,
yeah.
How do you rate that on a scale of 5? A 3? No, because a 3 is a 5 on a scale of 5, because it's right down the middle. So I'm like, I don't know how to do this. It's all wrong.
See, that's when they want you the half stars. It's a 2.5.
Yeah. Well, I practically want to rate out of 100. Like, that's how specific I want to be.
Honestly, I wouldn't have minded if some of these things.
Like, I'd give this a 68. I feel like that's what I'd give this movie if I could do it out of 100.
So that's passing in some schools.
Anyway, we've rambled enough. Let's get into spoilers. But if you don't want anything spoiled, you should go watch it. It's a low-budget movie. I didn't check the budget exactly, but they could use the support. I love to support, smaller studios making smaller budgeted films. So go see it in theaters if you can. If you have some kids that you need to take to see something, go take them to see this. It's a lot of fun. I recommend it.
I recommend it as well.
He recommends it too. So yeah, click away, go watch it, come back, and we'll talk about it then. But don't forget to like, share, follow, subscribe, all that stuff. Thanks, guys. Bye. So, spoilers. Yeah, I loved, first of all, the bully. And they're young enough that it was hard to tell. I thought the bully was a girl for a long time. I guess I should have picked up on the name, but the name was kind of, what was it? That was like Bowman or Bower? Or,
I thought it was a girl.
Yeah, Bowman.
Okay.
But that sounds like a last name, so I was like,
yeah.
I had no idea, and long hair, and I couldn't tell from the face.
Yeah, no, at first I thought it was a girl too. I think it was when Bowman stood up later on to give like there's no mountain lions here,
Yeah.
There are bobcats. That's when I realized it was a guy. But no, when Bowman joined the gang for the rest of the movie,
oh, he was great.
oh my gosh,
I loved him.
Bowman was hilarious.
My favorite part with him the whole movie, though, was when he was separated and then the dad and his sister save him, and then he goes, "Where are my kids?" And it zooms in like it's the last shot of the scene, and then it cuts to the kid, and he's just blankly staring at him, and he goes, "Who are your kids?" And I was like, that's perfect, 'cause he has no idea who he is. It's like, I mean, I know them, but are they your kids? I don't know. Who are you? So that was so good. I love that line. And there's tons of dialogue throughout this movie where it's just like really clever. Like, yeah, like it almost feels like they had like, I don't know, a critic in the writer's room who would just respond to every dumb line and go, "What about this?" And then they just included that in the script. That's what it felt like. And I was like, and I love that. It's hilarious. So props to, I say writer's room, it was one guy, written and directed by Seth Worley. Great work, guy. I can't wait to see what else you do. I don't know much about you.
Is this like his first thing or something?
It looks like he did some shorts before this. I don't think, I don't think he's done any features before this. Yeah, it looks like he's done like a dozen or so shorts, but this looks like his first feature film. So great work for a debut. I'm gonna actually quickly look up the budget. It looks like it was a budget of $3 million. So yeah, pretty low budget. I honestly may have guessed even lower than that. Like I guess probably that all went to the CGI. Because,
yeah, I would never know how much the cost to generate all those monsters and have them somewhat at least interact with the people. Like, I never really questioned the effects until like the spiders are crawling all completely people, over everybody.
Yeah. If not for the CGI, I would have guessed this could have been less than $1 million, but I'm sure most of the budget went to that.
Yeah.
But
we got some solid name actors as the sister and father.
Barely.
You know,
barely.
We
But
got Gary from Veep and
Forky. Or Sporky, whatever the hell his name is.
Forky, I think, or yes.
Well, that guy.
And then the woman from The Good Place, because I never saw The Good Place.
Yeah.
And she was in Barry. I liked her in Barry.
Okay.
I saw that one.
Yeah. But yeah, no, so probably that, frankly, they probably cost, not like, obviously millions of dollars, but they probably each cost a few $100,000 or something. I don't know.
I'm assume
completely guessing.
Can
you shut up?
They had...
Just get off the rumble strip. Just move to the center of the lane. Jesus. Okay.
They had sizable roles in
things.
Big, decent, large enough TV shows.
Yeah.
Hey, Veep was a HBO classic. You know, Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
Okay, I've never seen it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm watching it for the first time with friends. I literally was watching a couple episodes on Sunday. That's why it was bothering me that I recognized his face.
But yeah, it was interesting. Like, obviously you knew going in, or at least I did,
yeah,
if you knew anything. I saw the trailer, but so I knew, like, okay, it's a story about drawings coming to life, but you didn't know which direction they were going to take that. But very clearly early on in this, you can tell, oh, they are going a faux horror route, and I shouldn't say faux horror, but kiddie horror.
Right.
Kiddie's first allegorical horror movie. And then yeah, you could tell pretty quickly they are going allegorical, where this isn't just monsters for the fun of it, it's monsters with a meaning kind of thing. And I'm actually like super stoked that once again, like that feels like a never-ending story thing, where that movie, sure, it was scary for kids, but it was like it had a point and it had a message and stuff where like I love that for kids to have something like this. And unfortunately, I think very few people are going to know about this movie.
Literally had not heard of it at all until you bought the tickets and it showed up in my email.
Yeah, like I think the people that are going to know about this are like the film buffs and film people like me that hear about it because it gets talked about in those circles. And then the only people that will actually watch it are the ones that either are reviewing it like us or those film nerds that have children, because the average person is not going to hear about it. And then even if they did, I think a low percentage of them would then take their kids to it because it doesn't look as accessible as like Bluey, for instance, you know? Like this doesn't, I don't know. On the surface, it may not look as appealing as it actually is. And I think it's a shame because more people, I think, will enjoy this movie than they realize it.
Honestly, I'm not saying either one of these companies would give it a good push, because they don't always with their unknown if they're going to make it products. But this would probably be better suited if it was like just a direct-to-streaming Netflix or Disney movie. It'd probably get more eyes on it.
Movie, yeah.
It's not even about the budget or what it looks like. It's just it would probably get more press and more eyes on it if it were on a streaming service than trying to do a theatrical run that literally I don't think many people are hearing about. There was surprisingly more people in the theater than I expected for not hearing a single thing about this, not seeing a single trailer in all the movies we see, not seeing a single poster until this, as far as I could remember.
Yeah. And for it to be a night showing on a Tuesday night for kids.
Yeah, true.
This isn't the opening weekend, and it's 7:30 p.m. You know, how many people are taking their kids? Clearly, some people. I was shocked.
Is it $5 movie night here?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but still, it's the nighttime.
Yeah.
I'm not taking my kids to a 7:30 p.m. showing. They're gonna be. It's their bedtime before the movie's over.
We would have gone to something early, gotten dinner right beforehand.
I don't know. This movie definitely, I think, deserves to have more eyes on it than it will get, which is a shame. But hey, it already got its budget back. because it was so low budget. It was $3 million and it got $5 million its opening weekend. So there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now $5 million is a terrible opening weekend, but when all you need to get back is 3, that's great.
Hey.
Yeah, I love to see creativity. I love originality, and this movie is fun. It's so much fun. And like I said, the interaction with the various characters is what really makes it work. It's got that Spy Kids feel with the kids, where you can tell the whole time that they are kids and they are more play acting than acting, but that's fine because they're enjoying themselves, and I enjoy watching that.
It worked so well because they got, no matter what was going on in the story, no matter how we knew they felt emotionally about the various, well, the mother's death. We're in spoilers now. Yeah. So the mother's death, it was comedic, it was lighthearted. Up until they really had to, break it down and do the brother-sister.
Things got a little bit wordy and a little bit confusing.
Yeah, they're not quite there yet, but when they get to just be lighthearted, bounce off each other, tell the jokes and the quips, they were great. I liked it a lot, and especially that bully. He was
so funny. Like I said, just the timing of it, I really credit the director, because I just you can't trust kids to deliver jokes, right?
No.
So the director had to be like, just say this like this. Okay, good. Now wait 10 seconds and then say this. And it just as somebody who's directed children before, I just know this is a nightmare. This sounds so exhausting. But yeah, no, I think I don't even blame the kid actors so much for some of the dialogue near the end. I think some of that was just a little bit wordy and convoluted. And I was glad to see how they resolved the mother thing, because at first I thought it was going to go a really dumb way, because you knew they couldn't bring her back to life because that just feels cheap. But then when the dad goes oh, you can't do it because you have to let her go, I'm like, okay, that works for the allegory, I guess, but when you have the ability to bring your mom back to life, you can't convince me not to.
Yeah.
You have to give me a reason that I can't. You can't just say, don't do it for moral reasons. That's bogus. But then he turns around and the ashes are spread everywhere because the box broke. And I went, okay, at least you gave me a reason. Now I can feel something.
Yeah.
Because now my brain is disengaged and I'm back to feeling something. But even so, I was like, couldn't you just try and scoop them up? But I don't know.
Yeah, no, I was thinking stuff like that too. Because I was thinking oh, I guess it's a symbolic gesture. He could probably just sweep it back in, pass the box up, put it back on the mantle, whatever. But no, this, trying not to overly think this pool, it was just interesting because, again, I didn't see the trailer, so I saw Dave in the poster, so I knew there was some sort of childish monster thing in this movie.
Yeah.
I didn't know how that was supposed to come into this.
I almost was expecting a Bridge to Terabithia thing.
That would
where
have been interesting.
It was like a bait and switch, where I was like, they're using their imagination, and in one scene you see the monsters. I was really hoping that wasn't going to happen. But then, when they involved the pool, that's when I was like, are we doing 2 separate plots here? What's going on?
Yeah, it was odd, because, the first we see the pool do, it fixes things. It fixes the phone, it fixes his cut.
Yeah.
It doesn't fix the blood on the shirt, because I guess that's not damage or whatever. It fixes things. It doesn't bring things to life. It fixes things. That's why when he was trying to do the mother's ashes, it made sense to me. Okay, it reverts her. Maybe it's
Fixes.
not fixed thing, or maybe it's back in time. Either one works with her ashes. But then the drawings start coming to life, and that just gets thrown right out the window there. And it was still entertaining. It was an interesting take on the grieving process, because they set the whole movie up making you believe that the daughter's the
one
problem.
With the issues,
That because she's drawing these ultra-violent, childish but ultra-violent drawings.
Something that if your kid drew, you'd be like,
I was surprised. I mean, it's a child. That's probably how the counselor is supposed to handle it, and good on the counselor for handling it that way. I was very surprised at her reaction there. I thought that would cause a lot more alarm, like some checkups, some therapy. It was
really enjoy, because a lot of there's varying levels to the drawings, where some of them are like, okay, so you stabbed somebody in the drawing and he's dripping blood. You're like, that's crossing a line, but okay. And then there's here's the blood eater. It eats your blood and then vomits it on your face. And I'm like, what?
It wasn't even just your blood. It was just it eats blood and it vomits it on people. It's it came to life later, it just attacked the blood drive, ate some blood, and puked on people.
Yeah, I loved how that was the one where they're like, even with the cartoony way, we can't really show this. And so they only showed like brief snippets of it, and then you hear the news person saying, and then it threw up and it cuts channels. I was like, yeah, we can't really show that. The rest of them we can.
But with the drawings originally, what alarmed me, and it wasn't just the blood. It was when the therapist asked, are these of anyone in particular? She said Bowman.
Yeah.
And he said, do you really want these things to happen to Bowman? And she said yes.
She didn't say anything.
She kind of...
It was inferred.
Yeah. It was enough that I figured that would be some mandatory therapy, right?
If I had realized Bowman was a dude the whole time, I would have picked up on the crush thing a lot sooner, but I just thought it was like a Mean Girls kind of thing. And so then when I finally realized, it was like, oh, he has a crush, and I was like, this whole thing makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, no. I wasn't sure if it was going to go that route, but I kind of, you know, when kids are picking on one another of opposite genders.
The second also they say, like, sits behind me and pulls my hair. I'm like, that is a quintessential guy likes you move.
What a great pickup line. Sup, orphan.
Sup, orphan. Sup, beehole. Yeah.
Are we orphans? I don't know. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah.
Maternal
That whole
orphans.
conversation, so much of that early dialogue, I was just like, yes, this is what it's like talking to kids, and like the kid having this overly, at first I was like, oh, maybe he's supposed to be a little bit autistic or on the spectrum or something, because he's so obsessed with this plate. It reminded me of my one brother who has Asperger's.
Yeah.
And so I was like, maybe that's, but then you find out you got this really brief flashback where it's like, it had a connection with his mom, and that's why he cared so much. And I was like, oh, this is all so good, because it's not super subtle, but it's also not thrown in your face. And I was like, this is just good. I like this. But yeah, talking about the scares, if you will, there was some stuff that I was like, oh, this is, for me, it's fun. And I know for a kid it'd be exciting, because like, first of all, there's like this evil Amber, they call her, which was the one that stabbed him really hard in the stomach.
Of course.
Not cut him in half.
Not cut him in half.
Not cut him in half. But how they convey that is they actually end up kind of showing her, in the drawing she's not portrayed this way, she's just a purple thing. But
I didn't
then
think it was her in the drawing.
Yeah, I didn't pick up that either. They extrapolate that later.
Yeah.
But she ends up putting on clothes, because I guess she didn't have any in the drawing, but I don't know. But what she dresses up as is like a depressed teenager with like the hood over her head and the sweatpants and everything. I was like, at first I was like, why did they do that? I guess to save on CGI. But then once they explain that it's her, I'm like, oh, it's like her angsty future teen self. I like this. And a lot of that stuff also, because it's in that sweatpants and it's not as much CGI, you can allow for a physical, actual person, actor, to do some of the stuff, which allowed for a lot more creepy stuff.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Because like, I didn't know how it was going to interact with them.
Right.
You see it kind of moving semi-creepily while it's drawing and putting the pictures into the pond.
Yeah.
But you don't really know how it's going to like chase after the bully. What's his name? Bowman? Right, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it just drops to all fours immediately and starts running.
Also, the scene with the brother where he's hiding behind the tree and he doesn't think that it sees him, but then he checks around the corner and it's like 50 feet closer. And like, if this was an adult horror movie, it would be right there and you'd see its face and something bigger. But it's like for kids, so you just went bam. And I was like, that's effective and that's cool. I like that a lot. So there's a lot of cool little moments with that.
And then the one wild move when I think she's fighting it at the end.
And I said something to you.
It's like the weird spin flip thing.
That. Yeah, that was fun.
And then her move at the end too.
Yeah, I was talking about those. So I forget who she's on top of, what exactly is happening. I think she's on top of the brother. And he had been using a flamethrower, which was a hilarious gag, by the way. Because I didn't even get to use my flamethrower. And then you have a flamethrower, and just comes back to...
Yeah, Bowman busting out the flamethrower, literally
which is just, it's like aerosol and a lighter. But it was just hilarious.
Still.
Because just the comedic timing of it.
It was
which
just,
is just
one
like,
cut back.
Yeah, they're just like, you have it. And I was like, that's brilliant. But anyway, so this drawing in particular was done with crayon. And so different crayon... At least I don't say crowns, okay? Crayon.
He's not southern enough for it.
But they did a cool thing where each drawing, depending on what they were made from, there was different ways to defeat them. Like there was chalk ones, so they would use super soakers, and then there was the crayons, so they would use heat for that, the flamethrower for that. But so it starts to melt the face, and then it jumps on top of him, and so the crayon, the melted crayon, is dripping onto his face, and it's sticking out its tongue like into his face, and that's when I was like, this is a lot for a kids movie. I mean, I'm loving this, but I was like, ooh, this is getting intense for a kids movie. But yeah, and then she comes in with the tentacles, and that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Gets your superhero moment in the end with that crazy flip.
Yeah, I was just like, what? Where did that come from?
It's like, I know your tentacles give you abilities, but I didn't know you turned Kung Fu Master at the end there.
Yeah, and I'm curious how they did it, whether it was with wires or they used a stunt double and CGI'd the face, because I assumed when I saw the flip, I'm like, so it's a stunt double, but then she stands up and it's her face. I'm like, there was some trickery going on there, and it was great.
I mean, since I don't know all the trickery, I just assumed stunt double at first, then somewhere along the way
But there was no switch, so it must have been a CGI face.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't watching closely enough to really decipher it, but I was just like, oh, that shocked me.
The daughter's grieving process, understandable.
Yeah.
Definitely threw me for a loop a bit, not with her not being, with her being the healthy one. I totally got that the father wasn't. Because they said very early on that he put away all the wife's photos when she died.
Yeah.
And that's a
That's
real terrible thing to do when you've got some young children.
Yeah.
Just put away every single remembrance of your mother, I guess, besides this plate. And
Oh, I don't think he realized there was a connection. Because he didn't realize the importance of the plate. He's like, why do you care so much?
But I thought he knew it was a special plate.
He didn't get why it was a special plate.
Yeah, I get he didn't completely connect it with the wife, but
yeah. He was with me. He just thought his kid was autistic or something. He's just like, why do you care?
It's just put all those away. Now, I didn't quite get that the son was having issues, but I get it towards the end now.
Sure.
Because, the daughter's having her own grieving
delved
process.
into as much.
Not really, but it kind of makes sense in the end, because the daughter's having her own grieving process.
Yeah.
No one's really understanding it. It's by far for lack of a better word, the loudest.
Yeah.
Because it's got these really graphic and violent drawings.
Yeah.
On doing horrible things to real people.
Yeah.
And then the father is clearly, he's trying, but he's clearly just
they're both
trying
bottling it up, which you don't notice until it goes horribly wrong.
But the son notices, and the son basically takes on the father's role of trying to hold it all together, trying to fix everything, trying to make sure everyone's okay. Yeah. Especially the sister, because she's clearly the one struggling. Well, again, struggling the loudest.
Yeah.
But him taking on that father's role, it made it make more sense when we got the little breakdown at the end.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, I liked it. I did.
Yeah.
I really did. I thought it all was fairly real, like there's a couple of moments, like I said, where but I don't really blame the actors for that. I think it was more of a writing thing than anything. Like, for instance, when he was first talking to his son and he was like fighting with him, he kept calling him man, and I'm like, not saying that you wouldn't call your 10-year-old kid man, but I was like, I would be like calling him bud or buddy or something, and you're like, come on, man, what are you doing, man? I'm like, who are you talking to? Who are you talking to right now?
That's his little man right there.
I am the one who knocks. Anyway, so yeah, I was like, that's a little bit weird, but I mean, at the same time, some people talk to their kids in weird ways, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Overall, I don't have any major complaints. I think the biggest issue of this movie is the budget, and it wasn't that big of an issue.
Did you predict how they were going to wrap up the monsters? Because when they said they were making this big weapon single drawing that was going to kill everything all at once, I didn't believe that was going to work out.
No way, yeah. I knew it was going to be something she drew.
I agree. I thought the brother-sister painting was going to come to life.
I did think that at one point, yes.
And take them out and be their little representation and cause them to reconcile or to understand each other fully now.
Yeah. I had about 3 different theories at various points. From the jump, when they said we need to draw something and they start talking about guns and stuff, I went, no, she needs to draw something specifically happy. Because there's the line from the dad earlier where he says, the bad thoughts are fine, but you have to have good thoughts to balance them out. And so he tries to convince her to do that. So I thought, okay, now's the time to say, look, her way of thinking, her creativity, her way of expressing herself is not a bad thing, because there are good things that come out of it too. So I was expecting that to be what she would then draw, like something happy. And then he finds the box with all the things, and so I went, oh, we're gonna put all of those in. because those are her happy thoughts.
Hmm.
And then he grabs out just the one thing and went, oh, so we're going to use that one thing.
Yeah.
And so I just kept evolving, and then it ended up being the second one, but it was weird. And I don't entirely love how they did that, because even after they were the happy things, they were still monsters.
Yeah, no, because like,
They're just hearts.
See why I
but
thought
they're eating things still.
why I thought it made sense when I thought it was just gonna be the painting or the drawing of the siblings
Yeah.
of them in their little Minecraft with his little emerald diamond
Yeah.
sword.
Yeah.
Because I thought, okay, maybe they'll be like, they'll think like them in the end, and they'll be good, or they'll just fade away, or whatever. Because like they don't really explain how these go away unless you destroy them.
Yeah.
But yeah, putting the whole box in and unleashing all these monsters. Well, I guess because they're her childhood drawings, they're all generally positive.
Yeah.
I
All pre-Mother Death.
didn't know
drawings.
how they would go away, and as we saw, they didn't go away. They're just out there.
Yeah.
Eating
that was okay.
animals.
I said I had no complaints. That is a complaint. I thought the ending was a bit muddled, because I would have done it a different way there, where it would have been the allegory kind of fell apart a little bit there, where I was like, so your previous happiness is what undoes the present bad thoughts. It's like, no, it should be new happy thoughts. It should have been a new drawing, I thought. So that's why I kind of didn't like how they did that. But I mean, we're nitpicking when you're complaining about that. It's really not a, and also like, oh, you use tentacles and swords to defeat your bad. Like, it's an allegory, okay? It's not to be taken too literally.
Those tentacles were a new drawing. New enough.
It is, yeah, yeah. So yeah, no major complaints. A couple of nitpicks here and there, but like I said, I enjoyed it a lot. So we're recommending it. We don't really have to run, but we're going to, because we don't want to talk to you anymore.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching or listening or wherever you're doing it. Please give us a good rating, thumbs up, 5 stars, however the hell you want to do it. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Still scarier than Jurassic World.